Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wrestleview.com SmackDown Post Show number. SmackDown Post Show number 16. It's been, I'm not very good at math, so 4, 8, 12, 16. It's been 4 months, 4 months of this show. Thank you guys for joining me. My name is Roy Nemer. I'm your Wrestleview.com SmackDown recapper. This is Post Show number 16, 4 months in. What a show. I absolutely loved it. I'm just going to get that off my chest. Really, really enjoyed it. I see a couple of people in the chat here. I see Quentin, I see Andrew, I see Gil's fan, a couple of people. If you guys are watching us, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. We're here a couple of times a week, so make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for watching us on YouTube. Leave a comment. What do you guys think of the show? And we'll be, we'll make sure to read them next week. We also have Rock in there as well. So Andrew says hello to the Wrestleview.com Tribal Chief. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are having an excellent Friday, and thank you for joining me. So this show, we're going to kick things off right away with the big news, the absolute big news that broke earlier today, early in the morning, actually. Fans, we are going to have some fans back in attendance as the WWE begins their tour, right? Their tour of 20 plus cities. For the most part, it appears to be mostly in Texas, possibly Florida as well, but Texas getting the majority, at least at the start. So that's just some great news. We've gone through the Performance Center, we've gone through the Thunderdome. Thunderdome now is, I think, close to 10 months, 11 months almost since the Thunderdome. I think it debuted, I want to say around SummerSlam time, right? End of July, probably beginning of August. So it's been a while. It's been almost a year. It's going to be great to have some fans back. And that's essentially how we kick the show off, right? So SmackDown starts, and we had Sonya, who was in the ring with all the champions, bar one. There was one champion that was missing. So you had all the champions on stage. Sonya Deville in the ring. We have Gil's fan here. He says, Cole said we will finally have a WWE universe. Can't they just say a crowd? I mean, they've been using this term of the universe for a couple of years now. They don't say, rarely do they say fans or do they say crowd. It's now just the universe, right? It's the universe, whether you're at home or whatever it is, they go with that. Berserker, what's up, Berserker? Hope you're well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. Andrew, will be interesting with fans back. Absolutely. Oh my God, it's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel good. Metallica, my dear friend, personal friend of mine. So Rock says, crowd is probably a banned word. Knowing the amount of stuff that they ban, probably one of them. Probably one of them. So we kick the show off. Sonya's in the ring. And, she mentions how as of July, WWE will be leaving the Thunderdome and back to doing live events. And she welcomes the SmackDown Parade of Champions. Champions, plural, right? Parade of Champions, which are the Tag Team Champions, the Women's Tag Team Champions, the SmackDown Women's Champion, and the Intercontinental Champion. So they're all on stage. Roman Reigns is not there, not yet. He does join us later that night. And then, she talks about tonight's main event, essentially, which is the Intercontinental title match. And Cruz says, no, it's not a title match. I'm going to win and this and that. So a nice little promo by Apollo Crews there. And then Sonya is about to welcome the Tribal Chief. She's about to welcome Roman Reigns to the ring. Out comes Paul Heyman, and a couple of people. This got a couple of people riled up on Twitter, myself included. I know Andrew as well. Paul Heyman comes out, but Paul Heyman comes out to Roman Reigns' old theme music, and this kind of got people talking. Like, wait a minute, what are they actually getting rid of the new one? No, they didn't. So Heyman comes out and he says Roman Reigns is not a title holder. Roman Reigns is a champion. And he's not just a champion, he's the champion. And not just the champion, Roman is the preeminent champion, not just of SmackDown, but all of WWE and all of sports entertainment. So Heyman had 2 promos tonight. The first one was fantastic. The second one we're going to get to later on was insane, absolutely insane. It's Paul Heyman. It's Paul Heyman on a promo, right? Paul Heyman on a promo. We have Mr. Mashoon. Mashoon's in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Mashoon. And another good show, and once more without Sasha Banks. Yes, without Sasha Banks. Jorge Oliva's in the chat as well. Hello, Jorge. Let's take a look at your question here. So he said, so that's Quinton. He says, like and subscribe, or else we'll make you acknowledge Roy Nemer as your tribal chief of Wrestleview. Yes, we will. Thank you for that, Quinton. Jorge, so do you think by having fans back, Vince will actually listen to the reactions and improve his product, or will he just try to shove merchandise? Look, I'm hoping, and I want you guys, I want your opinion as well, but I'm very, very much hoping that having fans back will sort of change the direction of a couple of these characters. They'll finally get raw emotion, raw feedback from the fans, what they think of the characters and the storylines and the matches and everything. So I genuinely hope so, Jorge. Absolutely. Going back to Paul Heyman for a second. So Gills fan says, I thought someone hit the wrong button when Heyman entered to Roman's old theme. I'm all for Roman's old theme if they're going to give it to Paul Heyman. I just much prefer his new one, right? Absolutely much prefer. Andrew says, I assume the person who played the wrong Roman Reigns music is no longer employed. Metallica, so Rock. Stephanie McMahon used to come out to Triple H's My Time while being his manager, while Triple H had a different theme. So is Heyman getting the Steph treatment? That could be. That's one way of looking at it. That is one way of looking at it. And so Gilsman says, Vince listening to the fans, that's hilarious. Who knows? Fingers crossed, right? Absolutely fingers crossed. Ames, I believe I'm pronouncing it, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. So Ames Holmes, today I scored big time at the Goodwill with an entire trunk full of old wrestling magazines. I was like a kid in a candy store. I still have a couple from years back, from decades ago when I was growing up. So kudos to you. And Gilsman, perhaps they just did it so Doug can still shout Burden. Maybe they do listen to their audience. So continuing on, so we will have fans in attendance, and then that led to, and we have Daniel in the chat as well. Daniel, thank you. Not sure how to react to that or respond, but thank you for joining us, Daniel. So Heyman comes out, cuts his promo, leaves, and then in comes Bayley. And I'm loving Bayley right now. Let me know what you guys think of Bayley. I absolutely love this Bayley character. So Bayley comes out, and she essentially calls all of them, a cheater, right? So she tells Sonya, look, I haven't been acknowledged. You haven't acknowledged me. I held that SmackDown Women's title for 380 days. I was a double champion. You guys should be thanking me for putting the company on my back, especially Dominik. And she says, Dominik has been, he's been living off his dad. And then she turns to Ray and she tells Ray, you overstayed your welcome. And she turns her attention to Natalya and to Mina and says, well, you guys won the titles, and broke down crying. What is this? And then she turns to Apollo and she says, props Apollo, what's up? So just a solid promo. I love the development of the character. I love the character of Bayley, what they're doing with her in the past couple of weeks, past couple of months. Big fan of hers. And am I wrong in saying, and let me know what you guys think, by the way, because I know Mashoon just called Bayley Karen. So he says Bayley, aka Karen. Gilsfan says, Bayley has always been one of my favorites. So what do you guys think? I feel like Bayley, and not saying it's a bad thing, but I feel like Bayley is possibly overshadowing Bianca, maybe? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is she overshadowing Bianca? Is she getting the best of her? Is she the star woman in that division on SmackDown? I don't know. Let me know. That was a solid promo by her. Then obviously she turned her attention to Bianca. And she tells Bianca, your stupid hair, you use your stupid hair at WrestleMania, you use your stupid hair at Backlash against me. So as we mentioned last week, because we did talk about this last week, have they planted the seed? Are they planting the seed for a hair versus hair match involving Bayley and Bianca? Could that be a thing? Because they've mentioned the hair for the past couple of weeks, and this was definitely like a focal point of Bayley's promo when she turned her attention to Bianca. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you very much. Saludos desde Tijuana, Mexico. Great job on recaps, Roy. Keep it up. Felicidades. Gracias, hermano. Thank you. It means a lot. Very much appreciated. Thank you for joining. Daniel says regarding Bayley, she'd be the best women's wrestler on Raw. Charlotte gives her a run for her money. I know Charlotte gets a lot of flack and a lot of hate, but let's be fair. She has held that division together for a while. Her and Asuka. I cannot forget Asuka. Rock here, he mentions Bayley absolutely sold every champion on the stage well. I think Bianca needs to lose some of that babyface smile and be more serious because I can't take her seriously. So I know we mentioned this. I believe it was last week or the week before, and I believe I spoke to Jamel about this, so we all mentioned it in the chat. But something about Bianca, like the constant smiling, even though she has a bit of attitude, right? She has some bite to her character. They gotta watch out. And I feel like having fans back so soon will definitely help with that. Gil's fan regarding the hair versus hair. So that could be something for the first pay-per-view in front of fans. Absolutely. Could be something huge, right? Jorge says, since Bayley turned heel, her promos have improved tenfold. She could keep this feud going till SummerSlam. I'd be a fan of that. If done correctly, why not? Have something like, Bayley possibly gets the win against Bianca at Hell in a Cell, but somehow doesn't win the title. Bianca somehow, retains at, Money in the Bank, or they do a hair versus hair match, something like at one point, maybe at a pay-per-view. Who knows? Daniel asks, is it full capacity for the fans? I'm not sure. They didn't mention it, but I feel like possibly. I mean, if we look at the precedent set by UFC, they had two events, one in Florida, I believe it was in Jacksonville, and one in Texas about 2 weeks ago now. Full attendance. You had 15,000 people in attendance. So I'm hoping we get at least 5,000. I truly hope we get at least 5,000 in attendance. I think that would be a very good start. And then this comment here, does anyone else feel like Bianca is a charity champion? I wouldn't necessarily call her a charity champion. I wouldn't go that far. I think off merit, she's earned it. I think she's done a formidable job as champion. I like her as champion. I just feel like they need that fan interaction with her. So that could be very, very interesting. And Gil's fan says, does Sasha return to cost Bayley the hair match? That would be very intriguing. That would be extremely intriguing what they do with that, because Sasha obviously has history with both of them, right? Significant history with Bayley, and recently, just lost her title at WrestleMania to Bianca. So that could be something. And Daniel says 5,000 would at least be a reaction for feedback. Absolutely. Andrew, Bianca's hair and the belt on the line would be a double weight for her, which I would like. Stack the odds against her, right? My guess is, and I think everyone's guess here, is Bianca would ultimately get the win against Bayley. I'm guessing, right? I'd be very surprised if Bayley does win the hair versus hair match. And this is assuming, right? Assuming they have a hair versus hair match. So who knows? And I'm all for this comment here. So Rock mentions no more Sasha and Bayley feuds. Absolutely cannot agree with you more. So then Bianca makes her way down to the ring after Bayley's trash talking. She gets in her face. Out comes Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. They attack Bianca. Out come the women's tag team champions, Natalya and Tamina. And a whole fight breaks out. We go to a commercial break, and we get a 6-woman tag team match involving it was Bayley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler up against Bianca, Natalya, and Tamina. So the heels versus the babyface. And I'll be honest, this wasn't too bad. This wasn't too bad of a match. It went to past one commercial break, so we did get a commercial break out of this. It didn't feel like it dragged on for too long, to be honest. I didn't really feel like it dragged on. There wasn't any, how can I put this? There wasn't any spots where you could tell they were really trying to pull off, and oh my God, this is too obvious. I remember last week on SmackDown in the women's tag title match, there were 2 or 3 spots where you tell they practiced it to no end prior to the show, and they really wanted to get it off. But tonight it just felt, kind of smooth, right? Really just kind of smooth there. Although a bit of an odd ending for me, And I saw Andrew's comment, and it was something that that I tweeted about. So essentially, Shayna gets the Kirifuda clutch on Natalya, and Natalya taps out. And I ended up tweeting, I said, you have Natalya and Tamina, who win the titles last week, only to have Natalya tap out this week. I get that no one could afford to lose this match, and I do. At the end of the day, it wasn't a bad match, and it didn't drag on, and I understand that neither women could afford to lose, but I would have preferred maybe a different ending, because if you're Bayley, you're really pushing Bayley as a contender, right? Again, so you can't afford to have her lose. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler just lost the tag titles last week. If they lose again this week, it could do them a bit of harm. Tamina and Natalya just won the tag titles. They're probably the last people in this match that you want to tap out or take the cover, right? To take the pin. And Bianca Belair as a champion, it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss if you get her to tap out or lose. And this is something I tweeted about, as I mentioned, and here we go. Let's take a look at Andrew's comment as well. He said, yeah, I didn't get that either, Roy, with Natty taking the loss. I didn't understand that. But at the same time, I get someone had to lose, and I would actually probably prefer this over a disqualification finish or something else, right? It was just kind of odd for me to have the new champions tap out 7 days after winning the titles. So regarding the hair versus hair, going back really quickly, Rock mentions there hasn't been a women's hair versus hair match since Victoria and Molly Holly at WrestleMania 20. So we're talking 17 years ago already. 17 years ago. And Gil's fan mentions Reginald selling that horrific injury from Raw. Absolutely. Michael Cole even mentioned it on the show. He said, oh, Reginald is not here tonight. He's still recovering and this and that. And Gil's fan mentions, unless you're Roman or Lashley, WWE champions constantly lose non-title matches. They do, right? It's not the first time, but for me, it was just kind of odd because they're just coming off that title win. And yeah. So after that, we get Kayla Braxton's backstage with Big E. She asks him about tonight's match. And he says, I'm in the ring with dogs tonight, future Hall of Famers, former world champions. And all I can do is smile because they're the iron to sharpen my iron. And this is going to prove to me that I belong there. I belong with them, with the very best. So, good promo by Big E. Very energetic, as always. Something you would expect from Big E. We cut to a commercial break, and we have Mr. Lamar in here. Hello, Lamar. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. So, we cut to a commercial break, and we get an Aleister Black promo, right? Another dark Aleister Black promo. And Daniel says, a cliche promo. I'm guessing cliche promo regarding Big E. But the Aleister Black promo, it's the third or fourth promo we get from him. And it would not be the last time we see him on the show tonight. So we're gonna talk about Aleister Black in a little bit. Absolutely. Then we get King Corbin, and this is something that I'm very much looking forward to talking about because I hated this last week, right? It's in the archives, it's on YouTube, you can go back, we discussed it. I was not a fan of this last week. I loved it this week. So Corbin comes out and he talks about Nakamura stealing his crown, and we see clips of Nakamura on Instagram driving, wearing his crown, wearing Corbin's crown, and playing with his cat, wearing the crown. So it was a promo showing us what happened last week. And then Corbin's like, no, wait a minute. You're not a real king. A real king wears $40,000 watches. A real king owns a Ferrari and this and that. And out comes a man playing a guitar, right? And that ends up being Eric from NXT. And he presents himself as Rick Boogs. Boogs, and he came to rock with the real king of SmackDown, Shinsuke Nakamura, and he plays Nakamura's theme on guitar as Nakamura comes out wearing the crown. And I'm gonna show. So I have the GIF of this here, and we're gonna see because this was funny. This was something else. I have the GIF here. Here we go. It's this. Yes, it is. There you go. So let me. Was it that? Here we go. So this is the GIF. I tweeted, it's the best thing you'll see all week. Whoops. Let's take us to Twitter. And eventually, here we go. There you go. So Nakamura is rocking out. You have Pat McAfee just air guitaring the hell out of that with Michael Cole there. You can tell Michael Cole's kind of laughing. So if you missed it, that was the GIF for it. Absolutely go out of your way. Watch it. Funny stuff. Absolutely funny stuff. And this was probably the thing that Nakamura needed. All right, so I'm going to take a look at the chat, and I'll tell you guys what I think of. So Gil's fan says, he just pretended to play guitar in NXT, so he's improved already. Jorge says, I can see Bugs versus Elias in a guitar match. Oh, don't give them any ideas. Please, please, please don't. Por favor. Andrew says, is Bugs the same dude from the Old Spice stuff that the E was doing with 24/7 belt? I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very good question. I'm not sure. I'm really, really not sure. But this was a fun match. It was a fun segment. It added another element to the Nakamura character, a much needed element at that. So, the match, Nakamura wins, right? So Nakamura gets the win. It doesn't go to a commercial break. It's a relatively short match. So Baron Corbin hits him with the deep six. Nakamura kicks out. Then you have Eric that just rocks out, literally plays the guitar. So Eric's playing the guitar. It gets Corbin's attention. Nakamura takes advantage of it, gets the 1, 2, 3, gets the win. And this is something, again, I hated last week. I did not like it last week because I thought, it didn't really make sense. But what they did on social media with Nakamura, with the crown, and what they did today with the guitar as well, it adds something to the Nakamura character, like I said, and I'm a fan of it. Andrew says, I love that the guitar gives Nakamura power. So I guess similar to, and obviously a little bit far-fetched, but similar to the urn with The Undertaker, right? Paul Bearer has the urn, give The Undertaker some supernatural powers. Probably this is the same thing. Who knows? Gil's fan says, Woods versus Bugs, battle for king of musical distractions. Guys, please don't give them any more unsolicited advice. Please don't. All right. So then we got to a commercial break. I love that, by the way. After the commercial break, we got Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, Jey Uso. And this was this was for me probably the highlight of the show. And there was a lot of stuff I loved about this show. Absolutely a lot of stuff. I love the main event. I love the Nakamura with the crown and the guitar. But for me, this was top. This was the creme de la creme, right? For me, this was insane. I truly loved it. So we get all three men in the ring, and Roman says, I believe to be a humble man. I teach my sons about humility. And to be honest, I don't like to brag on live television. So I'm going to take this opportunity to allow my special counsel to celebrate me. And I tried to get as much of Paul Heyman's promo as I could in this. So I'm gonna read what I wrote. So obviously Heyman grabs the microphone and begins to talk, and he says, well, this is a unique surprise. It's a moment to acknowledge the tribal chief, undefeated since his return to WWE, scared the Fiend over to Raw, humanized the monster Braun Strowman, baptized his own cousin into the championship bloodline, KO'd Kevin Owens, scored the most convincing pinfall in the history of WrestleMania main events when he stacked Edge and Daniel Bryan on top of each other and pinned them as if it wasn't a triple threat match, but a handicap match versus the end-all to be-all. This was a phenomenal promo by Paul Heyman. Go out of your way. Watch it. I just read part of it, and I obviously am not even close to doing it any justice. This Paul Heyman promo, watch it. It's the best minute of your life, or at least of this week, that you'll probably end up watching. Phenomenal. And I'm going to go through the chat right here. So Gil's fan says, these Roman Heyman promos never miss, ever. These are home runs. every single time. These are touchdowns. These are whatever sports analogy or metaphors you want to use. They are that. Andrew says, Paul Heyman, the last of the old school promo managers. Unfortunately. And I tweeted out, I said that promo by Paul Heyman should be taught in promo schools. Like at the Performance Center, you air that promo. You air that promo every single day until it's like it's in people's minds, in people's brains. Teach it, break it down. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Andrew says, I hope we don't get the Fiend on SmackDown because they scared him to Raw now. I hope not, and I don't think so. I think the Fiend character is one designed more for Raw. I believe it's something we even mentioned a while back. I'm not sure if Fox are fans of the Fiend character. And I think that's why the Fiend is on Raw. I think that's why he's going to stay on Raw. Gil's fan says, but he didn't feed his opponents to zombies, so Damian Priest is better. And it's another reason why probably Damian Priest is on Raw, not on SmackDown. And regarding the promo, Rock mentions, he writes, it's not just Heyman's words, it's his delivery. It is his delivery. It's everything. It's his facial expressions. It's his timing. It's his delivery. It's his words. It's everything. Absolutely everything. Gil's fan writes, sending the Fiend to SmackDown would keep him away from Bliss. I'm a fan of Alexa Bliss. Not necessarily this character, but I like Bliss. I like the Fiend character, but they've just ruined it, right? They've just ruined it. So give me a second. Just going to grab a sip of water here as we continue with Roman Reigns' promo. All right. So, continuing on. So Paul Heyman tells Roman Reigns, I'm at your beck and call. What do you want? I'll do it for you. Roman looks at him, tells him, get me my cousin. Get me my cousin. Heyman turns to the timekeeper. Play Jimmy Uso's music. Out comes Cesaro with his arm in a sling, still selling that injury from Backlash. And he tells Roman, Roman just, he's like, cut this goof's music off. Cut this guy's music off. We don't need this. And then Cesaro says, how about a rematch? Me and you at Hell in a Cell. Roman Reigns starts to laugh. Out comes Seth Rollins, who just annihilates Cesaro, right? He attacks him from behind, hits him with 2 curb stomps, throws him into the barricade, the steel steps. It's a complete beatdown by Seth Rollins. Just annihilates, like I said, Cesaro. So that feud is not ending anytime soon. Doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like that feud is ending anytime soon. So it looks like we will be getting Seth versus Cesaro, maybe at Hell in a Cell. I'm just intrigued to see what we get for Roman Reigns. Are we going to get Roman Reigns versus Jimmy Uso at Hell in a Cell? Are they going to do the whole I Quit match, right? What they did between Roman and Jay back in October, or was it September? Are we going to get that one again, but with Jimmy at Hell in a Cell until we get a new opponent or a new challenger for Roman heading into July, Money in the Bank, with fans in attendance, right? What are we going to get? Who knows? But that's what we got, right? So we got Seth Rollins attacking Cesaro. And there was something I tweeted out. So I tweeted this out, and I'm going to share this here. I said, here we go. We have it here. Is WWE planting the seed for a Rock and Roman Reigns feud with the tracksuit? So this is me, I guess, grasping at straws, right? Probably a bit exaggerated at this point. But, here we have The Rock, all black, tracksuit, 2 white stripes, right? Obviously not the 3 for Adidas, but the 2 white stripes. And then you have Roman Reigns. Here we go. Same thing. All black. He has the Roman logo here, right? And then 2 white stripes. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I really grasping at straws here? Is that what we're going to get? What do you think? Regarding the feud? So Gil's fan says, I immediately thought of the I Quit match when they moved Hell in a Cell forward. That could be why. That potentially could be why. Or maybe they didn't want a big red cell as the pay-per-view, as the first thing the fans see in attendance. Who knows about that? But are they planting the seed? Really, Roy? Look, I'm being honest, man. They might do this. They might do this. Who knows? I'm grasping at straws, but still, right? Something out there. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. Gills fan says, I made a Walter connection when I saw that outfit. Ooh, I don't think they'll bring Walter in, or I don't even think Walter wants to kind of leave NXT, right? Leave NXT UK to come to the United States. I think he's pretty happy in Europe. But that is a connection. That is true. That is true. Andrew writes, well, Roman said they are working on maybe having them face each other at WrestleMania Hollywood. So we're almost 2 years from that, right? Because next year's in Texas, the year after is Hollywood. So they might really be throwing it out there from very far out. And as long as Reigns doesn't start giving out the chief eyebrow, the chief elbow, I think we'll be good. I think the family elbow. There you are. The family elbow. All right. We cut to a commercial break. We come back. And then we get Dominik Mysterio against Robert Roode. So we got new champions, new SmackDown Tag Team champions at Backlash. Rey and Dominik, right, get the win against Ziggler and Roode. And we spoke about that last week in our predictions, and I think everyone kind of predicted that we would get new SmackDown Tag Team champions, and we did. So congratulations to everyone. This match was, again, Bayley mentioned this at the very beginning, at the very start of the show. She told Dominik, well, you're only here because of your dad. And they mentioned it last week and the week before, right? Robert Roode and Ziggler, they said, well, Dominik, you're just here because of your dad. And again, once more, Roode says, well, you're here because of your dad. You don't belong here, and I'm going to prove that you don't belong here. And one thing I didn't like about this, and I thought we were going to get it, but instead it was kind of the opposite, and it's exactly what Gills fan wrote. He said, no promo from them after winning the title surprised me. So they got that short promo, right after winning the titles at Backlash, where it said, oh, this is like the best moment of my career, and they're happy. It was brief. It was like 30 seconds to a minute. It was relatively short. So when I saw them come out earlier tonight, I thought, okay, we're gonna get some promo, and we're gonna see who's gonna challenge them for the titles. They came out, and instead it was Roode and Ziggler once more, and it was Roode doing all the talking, not a peep from Rey or Dominik. And I guess this is maybe part of the reason why the SmackDown tag team division, or maybe the tag team division as a whole, is not doing so well. It's just the fact that they're not booking them properly. Booking is very poor. They're making poor decisions. Like these little things, just give them something. Give Rey something to talk about. Give Dominik 2-3 words. Give something, anything, absolutely anything. Andrew says, I'm hoping they're just placeholders till they move Dominik to NXT or 205 or wherever away from Rey. My guess is we're gonna have Rey and Dominik as champions well into July. At least when the fans come back. That's my personal opinion. So as for the match itself, another short match. Did not go to a commercial break. Dominik gets the win. So he hits Roode with the 619, climbs top rope, hits him with the frog splash. 1, 2, 3, gets the win. Dominik gets 2 wins now, right? So he got the pinfall on Roode actually at Backlash. He got the pinfall again. So Roode taking the hit twice in a matter of 6 days, 5-6 days. So yeah. We cut backstage and we get Jey Uso. But beforehand, I skipped this right before. So we had a scene where Sonya was backstage, in came Jimmy, and he asked her for a match against Street Profits, and Sonya made the match. So next week we're getting the Street Profits versus Jimmy and Jey Uso. Fast forward a segment or two, we get Jimmy backstage. He bumps into Jey. Jimmy tells Jey, "Hey, I got us a tag team match next week against the Street Profits." Jey is not happy about it. Jey is not happy about it at all, and he tells, "No, you know what? What do you mean? I have to tell Roman about this. I owe him that at least, and this and that." So they're not necessarily seeing eye to eye. They're not on the same page, at least just yet. We cut to a commercial break. We come back from commercial, and Roman Reigns is backstage, and in comes Jey Uso, and he tells Roman, "Look, tag team match has been set. We have the tag team match." And then Roman looks at him. He's like, "We? What is this we? Your brother Jimmy is being selfish. We is Jimmy and Roman. We is Jey and Roman. Everything that we do represents our family, right? Everything we do represents our family and represents us. Roman gives him a hug. End scene. End scene. And Andrew says, planting more seeds for Jimmy and Roman. It looks like it. It looks like it. And if I had to bet, that's probably the match we get at Hell in a Cell. Jimmy versus Roman Reigns. That's my guess. And when we did see Sonya earlier tonight, absolutely right, Gil's fan, Sonya was not on her phone and she did not look confused the same way that Adam Pearce normally does. So there you go. All right. Then we get the main event of the evening, which was the Intercontinental Championship match. So Apollo Crews with Commander Aziz versus Big E versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Let me have a sip of water as we talk about this main event. All right. So we get the main event, Fatal 4-Way. They've been hyping this up, right? They hyped this up. They announced it last week. They've been hyping it up on and off throughout the night with these mini promos and whatnot. So it did feel like some importance. And my question to you guys, so everyone joining us in the chat, everyone watching us on playback on YouTube, everyone listening to this, I have a question for you guys. When was the last time the United States title was defended, was the main event on Raw? And not only was it the main event, but they announced it the week prior and they hyped it up throughout the show. I honestly can't remember. Was it maybe recently with Bobby Lashley a couple of months back? Was it? Because I feel like the Intercontinental title on SmackDown is given far more attention, far more respect than the United States title does on Raw. Because I can't even name, I don't even know who the United States champion is on Raw right now. Is it still, no, it's Sheamus, right? I was going to say, is it Riddle, but it's Sheamus. See, and that took me a while. Brian says, hey, hello, Brian. Thank you for joining us. So Brian says, hey, the main event of a pre-show doesn't count. Unfortunately, it does not. Unfortunately, or else it would have been at Backlash. And maybe Jericho versus Owens, maybe possible. Andrew says, glad they gave that match enough time. Black is the character. I don't know how fans will take it when they come back. So we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to Black in a second. But something I'm very happy about is that they did give this match enough time. We went 2 commercial breaks in this match. Everyone got some spots in, some heavy hits. Owens took 2 potentially dangerous and kind of useless bumps where he landed on his neck or almost landed on his neck. Very dangerous. But everyone took some bumps. Everyone got some bumps in. And Andrew says, I can't remember the last time it was hyped up. I can't remember. Like, the United States title is just a throwaway title, whereas it's given some importance, some significance over on SmackDown. And they build up the mid-card on SmackDown much better than Raw has in the past years. Gil's fan, perhaps when Roman was US champ, and this was what, 2-3 years ago, maybe more. So it's been a while. It's absolutely been a while. Again, I like this match. Given enough time, they did mention it a couple of times. This is, it's a no disqualification. So Commander Aziz, they hinted that he might play a role, and he did. So Big E hit Apollo with the big ending, 1-2. Commander Aziz pulls him out. Big E throws him into the ring post, takes him out, gets back in the ring. The lights, like part of the performance center, go off in black. Out comes Aleister Black. So out comes Aleister Black, and this was unexpected. This was extremely, extremely unexpected. It was a surprise. And I'm glad they did it this way as opposed to kind of mentioning, oh, hey, someone's returning this week or Aleister Black's returning. Like, this was a pleasant surprise, albeit very... They're pushing, right? They're pushing Aleister Black by doing this. They are absolutely pushing Aleister Black by doing this. And here is his. So this is it. This is Aleister Black, right? Smoke, out he comes. There he is. He comes out, and I think I have it here. And he hits Big E with, boom, Black Mass. Knocks him out, right? Black Mass by Aleister Black. Apollo Crews takes advantage. 1, 2, 3, gets the win. So the thing about Black is they're really pushing him. By doing this, by having him return in the main event championship match. It's not the Universal Championship match, but it's the Intercontinental Championship match. They're giving it importance, right? So by having him return now and having him return the way that he did, they're making him out to be a force to be reckoned with, right? He just took out Big E right there. So a Big E Aleister Black feud, that could be solid. That could be really, really solid. And we get this comment here. So I thought it was weird that Black to return in the Intercontinental title picture. So I agree. It's surprising, but it's a good surprise for a couple of reasons. First reason, in my opinion anyways, is that it means that this is the end of the Apollo Crews and Big E feud. This is the end of it. That's it. So now we're getting Aleister Black feuding with Big E, which could be a good feud. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That feud looks like it might continue for a while. And now it gives now it gives Apollo something to do. It gives Apollo something to do. And I'm going to throw it out there. I tweeted this, but they've done a great job repackaging Apollo Crews. It's been a couple of months now. They've done a very good job of repackaging him because he now looks like a credible champion. A heel champion wins sometimes with luck or whatever you want to call it, but a champion nonetheless. Brian mentions, coincidence they begin to push Aleister Black as they're in contract talks with Zelina Vega to return. Yeah, so it has been reported that Zelina Vega is very close to returning to the WWE. These vignettes involving Aleister Black have been going on and off for about 2 months now, about a month and a half, 2 months. So, but absolutely it is. It is. And Gills fan writes, I'm curious of the explanation of why he's targeting Big E. And see, that's it. That's exactly, like, that's another thing is why, right? So it makes you want to tune in. Like, okay, this is something I want to tune in next week to see what's going on. Why did Aleister Black attack Big E? Why Big E? Why not someone else? And it makes for good television, right? And it's a 2-hour show, and they're doing well. They're doing well. And here, so it's also the end of Big E's little push. Potentially. You never know with WWE Creative. They might bring back Aleister Black and have Big E beat him. And then they'll forget about Aleister Black and they'll continue pushing Big E. So who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? I thought it was a good ending to the match. You knew there was going to be some sort of interference. So the fact that they had Aleister Black return and Big E did look solid out there. It's not like Big E took the loss and you're like, oh God, they're burying Big E. They're not burying Big E because he came off looking strong out there and he looked like he was going to win. He looked like he was going to win. So Andrew asks a question, and I'm going to relate it to actually 2 other questions out there, comments. So Andrew asks, I wonder who goes up against Apollo. I wonder who goes up against Apollo now. Mashun writes, maybe Apollo versus Shinsuke. I think Shinsuke is going to stay feuding with Corbin for a while, at least until Hell in a Cell. Maybe after Mashun, but I think for now we're getting Shinsuke versus Corbin. And Jorge asks, would you bring Keith Lee in to feud with Apollo? So this would be interesting if they suddenly bring Keith Lee over to SmackDown as opposed to just keeping him on Raw. Bring Keith Lee over to SmackDown, have him feud with Apollo. It could work. It could work, but at the same time, I don't know how much WWE Creative or how much Vince or whoever's in charge, how much they trust Keith Lee right now. I don't know how much they trust him. And I don't even know how much he trusts himself, to be honest, because the last time he was on television, his confidence looked low. But it is a possibility. Who knows, right? Who knows? It might be a surprise. Bring Keith Lee over, have him feud with Apollo. It might be the spark that he needs. Why not? Definitely. Brian writes, it's going to be a good feud, but Black would have to win that feud and just pushes Big E farther away from the main event scene. So that's the issue with this feud, is they're kind of backing themselves into a corner. If Big E wins, then obviously you continue to push Big E, but you've just completely killed any momentum that Aleister Black has. Whereas if Aleister Black wins, hey, that's cool. That's good for Aleister Black. But that momentum at the start of the year for Big E, whoop, down the drain, doesn't exist anymore. So they've backed themselves into a corner. And someone's going to come off looking strong, and someone's going to come off looking not strong at all. Not strong at all. So we'll see. We'll see. Taking a look here, Gil's fan, Nakamura versus Cruz and Buges versus Aziz. See, I feel like if Nakamura's character is done right and the storyline with Corbin is done right, yes, we could potentially have Nakamura go back and feud for the Intercontinental title. But I think for now, we're really going to get Nakamura versus Corbin, at least until next month, until Hell in a Cell. That's my guess. And Rock writes, Keith Lee could give Roman his money's worth. Could give him a run for his money if they, I'm not going to say repackage him, but if his return is done properly, because he has not looked strong the last couple of times we saw him on Raw. Andrew writes, probably Nakamura versus Corbin for the crown at Hell in a Cell, then Nakamura against Apollo at Money in the Bank. That could be very interesting. That could be very, very interesting. And you know what? I would love, and I know we spoke about this last week, but I would really like for them to do a King of the Ring tournament in June, right? Because initially King of the Ring was always in June. So go back, do it in June, and why not? I know last week we said, hey, have Jimmy and Jay in the final, and I'm all for it. That could be interesting, right? But have King of the Ring and have Nakamura and Corbin in the final. Now, that would be something. I would be completely for that. Let me know what you guys think. Gills fan says, they keep hinting that E will challenge Roman at WrestleMania on Talking Smack, so maybe they build him back up later in the year. And it is still relatively early, right? We're still like 10 months away from WrestleMania, 11 months away from WrestleMania. A lot could happen. You could have Big E bounce back at Survivor Series, right? In the fall time. You could have him win the Rumble. There's a lot of time left to push Big E back, or not back, but push him, towards the main event scene. Andrew writes, I think there are ways to spin either a Black or Big E loss in a positive way. Yes, there is, but I just feel like I don't trust WWE enough to spin that loss in a positive way. That's the issue. Brian writes, although with it being SmackDown, I do have more faith they can find a way to get it over and have both guys look good. So Brian echoing Andrew's comments right there. Brian, any thoughts on why they moved Money in the Bank? Are they hoping to get fans later on in the year? So, Brian, in case you missed it, they announced it earlier in the day, and they announced it when they kicked off SmackDown. We are getting fans. As of the July 16th edition, I believe, we will have fans. So, WWE will be touring again at the start anyways. It's in Texas, the first couple of dates that they announced. So, there will be fans in attendance on the July 16th episode of SmackDown. There will be fans in attendance for Money in the Bank and moving forward. So, I do believe that is why they, flipped it around and had Money in the Bank in July as opposed to having it in June. Andrew, Hell in a Cell just needs to be a night of some gimmick matches. Might as well to blow off Thunderdome. Hey, why not, right? And I would rather have, at least for the sake of the fans, have the Red Cage in the Thunderdome and not have it in front of an audience, right? You have the audience back, and the first thing they see is that huge red case. Brian, wow, man, I feel sorry for those people going to Raw. Well, Raw will also get live fans. So we're getting the July 16th episode of SmackDown. 2 days later, if I'm not mistaken, is Money in the Bank. And then Raw is getting a crowd as well. So it's everything, right? It's the pay-per-views, it's Raw, it's SmackDown. So that's at least it's something. Gil's fan, I wonder if the guy in the Thunderdome who tells you who to cheer for will find another job. The person in the truck just flipping the buttons and flipping the switches and pressing the buttons. So there you go. So we are having fans back. And I told you guys, I said this, it was either, I can't remember if it was last Friday's post show or if it was on our Backlash post show. I told you guys, I'm expecting fans back in the summer. I said UFC did it in Texas and Florida. I expected them for the pay-per-views. A couple of you guys said no, maybe in the fall. And I agreed right now. I guess logically it would have made sense in the fall, but WWE said forget it. We're having them this summer. So this could be good. This could be good. I believe it will be good. It's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a good thing. Brian, no, that's my point. I feel sorry for them. Oh, okay. I get it, Brian. I understand. Gil's fan, Adam Pearce is searching for venues according to Sonia. So this was odd because at the start of the show, Sonia said Adam Pearce is not here because he's out searching for venues to hold the show. And then during the event, during SmackDown earlier, Pat McAfee said, I could already hear the fans chanting in Texas. And then obviously they aired the promos hyping up the fact that WWE will be touring again in Texas. So a little bit of inconsistency there by WWE, by creative. Just a little tiny bit. Not for the first time. Very likely not for the last either. Andrew, with the new rules when people are vaccinated, open things up to have fans back. Yeah, it does. It does. It makes sense. It absolutely makes sense, I think. It makes sense. So that was the main event. My tweets were, a solid main event, an unexpected appearance by Aleister Black. I guess this means the start of Biggie and Aleister feud. Apollo feud with someone else, right? Some big bumps. My overall thoughts, let me know what you guys think in the chats, but my overall thoughts were a lot of good elements on the show tonight. The start of the show I thought was well done. The fact that they didn't have Roman Reigns come out just yet. They had him show up later on. You had Shinsuke Nakamura with the crown, with the guitar, with King Corbin. You had Paul Heyman's promos, because his first one was solid and his second one was... I mean, we spent a good 5 minutes talking about that second Paul Heyman promo. And honestly, I cannot think of one single thing I didn't like. Even the Dominik Mysterio stuff with Robert Roode, I didn't hate it. It was passable. It was fairly enjoyable. I liked it. Andrew writes, so Adam Pearce is looking for bingo halls and bars. Quentin, every time Roy Nemer gets things right, say this. It's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Yes, there you go. So I did not predict this. I spoiled this for you guys. You guys just refused to believe me. I spoiled it a couple of days ago when I said WWE will be back touring in the summer, not in the fall. Yes, absolutely. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, or else I don't know what we'll do. But please make sure to like, make sure to subscribe here tonight. We have a show on Monday, the post-Raw show with Mike and Victoria Tedesco. Give them a shout, give them a listen, give them a follow, give us a follow. Let me know what you guys think in the chat if you're watching us live. If you're watching us on repeat, leave a comment. What did you guys think of the show? What did you guys think of SmackDown? Let us know. Quentin says, SmackDown was a pass. Andrew, good show. And as I always say, it's 2 hours, so you can't hate it. And of course, this show, thumbs up. Thank you, Andrew. And speaking of thumbs up, let me get this up. So Brian says, there you go. So like or subscribe, or else you have to sit through Raw. There you go. Let me open this up here. So here you go. So 85.7% gave this show a thumbs up. 14.3% give it a thumbs down. I honestly can't find anything to hate on this. I don't know why someone give it a thumbs down. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? Maybe it was one thing that kind of ruined the show. Could be, possibly. But for me, it was definitely a thumbs up. And I see this. I see these two pictures. I see this picture here, and I know completely off topic, but oh my god, the fact that this picture is 24 years old now, and we've lost four of these guys. Wow. I grew up watching these guys. I don't know about you. I don't know about everyone in the chat. I grew up watching these guys. This was my childhood, especially living in Canada, literally as a Canadian. For me, it was the Hart Foundation. It was Bret Hart. It was Owen Hart. Neidhart, Bulldog, Pillman. Later on, the Hart Foundation. But yeah, and Natty often imitated, never duplicated. So this was cool. This was a cool little picture here. Cool little picture. All right, let's take a look at the chat here. What do you guys think? So. Jorge, so with you. Show is awesome. Thank you, buddy. SmackDown was well written. I believe so. Any predictions for Champions League final? Chelsea or Man City? I'll say Man City. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be closer than people expect. I expect City to get the win. I would not be surprised because if Chelsea somehow get it, because I think they're doing well under Tuchel, but I think City gets it. It's going to be a proper farewell for Agüero, and Pep gets his first Champions League since leaving Barcelona. Back to WWE, back to SmackDown. Gil's fan, good promo, so thumbs up. Absolutely, there you go. Quentin, post show was a quadruple pass. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for that. Brian, didn't get to see all of it, but by your recap sound good. I'll go back and watch the Heyman promo. Absolutely thumbs up. Yes, Brian, go out of your way, watch it. It's a Paul Heyman promo. You cannot go wrong with it. Mashoon, thumbs up. Absolutely. Brian, that Canadian Stampede pay-per-view was nuts. It was insane. The pop, you were like, when Bret Hart's music hit, that pop, you were not able to hear Bret Hart's theme song at all. Quentin, it's a thumbs down if your name is Daniel Shell. Andrew, Brett is the only one remaining. Yeah. So we're locking Daniel in a room with Sasha Banks, watching her matches. There you go. All right. That was it for the show, guys. That was it. Next week, we're getting the Usos up against the Street Profits. So that match is already announced. And obviously, we're probably going to get more of Roman Reigns, more of Seth Rollins, Cesaro. So that's going to be interesting. Who knows what happens with the Intercontinental title. Aleister Black is back. A lot of stuff going on. We have fans back, and I feel like they're going to try and build some momentum going into not only Hell in a Cell next month, but building up to having fans back. All right. On that note, thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you for everyone in the chat. Thank you for everyone watching us on YouTube, leaving a comment. My name is Roy Nemer. I'm giving SmackDown a thumbs up, but my name is Roy Nemer. I'm your Wrestleview.com SmackDown recapper. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for joining me. Honestly, it's always a blast, always fun. Always fun talking to you guys, getting different opinions. I love doing this. Andrew says, I gave Seth a pass on his suit this week because of the skulls. There you go. So let's bring it home. Last time. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Jorge. You too, brother. Have a good one. Rock, good show. Good night, everyone. Be safe. See you guys next week. Absolutely. Be safe, everyone. Thank you for joining me. And until next week, enjoy the show, guys. Enjoy the show. Enjoy SmackDown. Hope you guys enjoy Raw on Monday. And we have a post show for that as well. Take care, everyone. Be safe. And until next time, take care.